Exact
Now be
course content.
recorded.
This is just the overview of the different uh, concepts of fashion related topics that will be covered. Okay. So the exact course content will be different. So that course content you will get from Naveen. Now, before I go into the details of the deck that I'm going to share, just wanted to mention that this course content comprises of both MM and SD. Now, depending on your functional area, you can choose for either MM or SD because it's not possible for someone to learn both MM and SD. Now, people who are conversant with the MM generally go for the MM part of the fashion course content, and then people who are conversant with SD, they generally go for the SD part of the fashion course content. And then there are a few people who know both MM and SD, they prefer to go for the entire course content. So it is all up to you how you want to uh, customize or take the whole course content. Okay, makes sense? Okay, so let me share my screen. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So the most important concept in fashion is segmentation. Okay, so segmentation is something which defines the relationship between requirement and stock. So there is a sales order, and then you have to fulfill that sales order, which is basically known as demand, with the stock. And that stock can be your unrestricted use stock in the storage location, or it can be incoming purchase order. These are very simple examples of the stock. The way stock is defined in fashion management, you will find it as a batch stock, storage location stock, incoming purchase order stock, or if you have planned order, production order, those stocks are also considered as the fulfillment stock. Okay, now let us try to give an example of segmentation. Why segmentation is required? Very simple example, which is very common globally across the fashion industry. Let's say there are different qualities of product which are produced by the particular fashion industry, either purposefully or it might be as a result of some manufacturing defects that a second quality is produced and they cannot sell it in a higher price range. They have to sell it at a lower price range. So they will tag it as quality 2 stock. Okay. So there are different customers, and depending on the country of origin of the customers, it is a very common practice in fashion to default them a particular quality of stock. For example, customers belonging to North America and Europe, they will by default get only quality one stock in the sales order. Then customers belonging to some Asian, Middle East countries, some specific Middle East countries, not all, they will by default get quality two stock. And then some countries in some customers in Africa and then Southeast Asia will by default get quality three stock. So what happens is whenever you create a sales order, there is a, a parameter called segment, which is defaulted. And that segment contains the relationship between the requirement and stock. And then similarly, when you create a purchase order, there is equivalent segment which is defaulted in the purchase order. So in the sales side or in the sales order side or in the requirement side, it is known as the requirement segment, and the same entity in the procurement side is known as the stock segment. So the term stock segment and requirement segment are very commonly used in fashion management. Now I will try to give you an idea of some existing data in the system to elaborate this concept. But this is a very common and very important process in the fashion industry where you will find the fulfillment against a demand. The fulfillment will be based on stock segment and the demand will be based on requirement segment. So wherever there is a requirement, which can be a planned independent requirement, which can be a sales order, which can be a stock transfer report order, there has to be a fulfillment in terms of stock. And that stock can be your best stock, storage location stock, incoming purchase order, etc. So that's the concept of segmentation. Now to enable segmentation, you need to do quite a number of activities in the system. First, you have to set up the building blocks of the segmentation, and that will start with the creation of the characteristics. Now, Anjan, do you remember the characteristics that we created for the generic article? By any chance, do you remember that? Since we have taken the retail course content. Hello? Hello? I cannot hear you. You can hear me, right? Anjan?
Yes.
Hello? Hello?
Ajay, I can hear you. I've kept on mute.
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you. Huh.
Yeah. So I was asking you a question, Anjan. So do you remember the characteristics that we created in the generic article creation process?
Right, right. Yes, sir, we do.
Yeah. So when you set up the building block of segmentation, the first activity that you have to do is you set up the characteristics relevant for segmentation. And there is a difference between the characteristics required for generic article and the characteristics that are supposed to be used for the building blocks of segmentation. So there is a difference. And then when you set up this, the qualifiers or the attributes relevant for segmentation, like country of origin and quality, these are the very two common attributes required for the segmentation. Then you proceed for something called segmentation strategy and segmentation structure. Now, in segmentation strategy, you will have to define the relationship between your stock and demand. Okay. So, based on the rules that you set up in the segmentation, the relationship or the fulfillment relationship for a sales order or a stock transport order will be decided in allocation run, in MRP, in ATP, in these areas in sales. So, segmentation is something which is predominantly in the sales area. Okay, it originates from the sales demands, and then to fulfill the sales demand, there has to be a equivalent stock. So people who are more oriented and having background in the sales and distribution, they will prefer to go for the segmentation topic. For MM side, there is not much of an overlap, but segmentation will come in the MRP, mostly in the MRP. So let me try to give you an idea in the system. Let me log into the system and try to give you an idea of how segmentation looks like. For now, I will be using the 2020 system because the data is already set up here. But we'll be looking into this in the 2023 when we do the actual demonstration. Okay, so SGTC. So this is where we create the segmentation strategy. This is
I'm
where we
sorry,
create the
like
segmentation.
the screen you were showing. Yeah, now I can see the screen. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Rajan, you can see the screen, no? Rajan?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Yeah, please, Rajesh, go on.
Yeah, you can see my screen, right?
Yes,
All of
yes,
you?
Yes, yes.
yes.
We can.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine. So this is how the segmentation structure will look like, or the strategy. So let's look into this one. Any of these. This one, or this one. So you can see that it's a combination of two parameters, QC1 and D. QC1 is the characteristics which has been created for qualifying the quality of the stock, and the DEMI, EGMOI, these are the country of origin. So there are two characteristics which are involved here. Now, if we go into another transaction, there we can see what are the two characteristics which are involved. So let me go to another transaction, SGTS. There we can see what exactly is the combination. So ZSGV. So ZSGV. So these are the characteristics that you have to create. So these are the building blocks. And if you look into the building blocks, you will find, see, the characteristics group has to be assigned as STT underscore SAP hyphen C. So this differentiates the characteristics between the segmentation and that of something which is used for generic articulation, generic variant. Okay. And then
Okay.
this
Mhm.
this segmentation strategy will be used in number of application areas. For example, this is for allocation run and MRP. This is common for allocation run and MRP. So this is the relationship, requirement versus stock. So in sales order, this is what will be defaulted. And then here, you will have to define that any sales order for quality one DE will be fulfilled with what kind of stock. Now here I can specify that if quality one stock is not there, for DE, I can fulfill by quality two stock. Okay, so let us see how it looks like. So, so now if you look at here, so in step one, all the requirement of QC1 DE, meaning quality one for DE country, will be tried to be fulfilled with exactly the same stock as the same segment, meaning quality one DE. But if it is not there, if stock is not there, then it will be fulfilled by quality two DE for the same country. So likewise, we can set the rules in each of these application areas, ATP full segment, requirement to stock conversion. So this segmentation will have impact areas in both MM and SD. Okay. So depending on which area you are looking for, we will be covering those apart. Otherwise, it becomes a bit difficult. For example, if you do not know its standard ATP, then it will be quite difficult for you to realize that how the segmentation is adding a layer above it. Meaning there ATP is a standard process in SAP SD. Now segmentation has a distinct impact on ATP if you activate this particular node. So for that you need to know the ATP. So that is the background.
What is
Now,
ATP? Hello?
yeah,
What is ATP?
available to promise.
Okay.
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 So now I will, and then eventually, once you are done with the setup of the entire segmentation, you have to add the segmentation in the basic data toolkit. Okay. You have to add the segmentation in the basic data toolkit. And then the same segmentation will be defaulted to the logistic DC toolkit. So all the DCs are relevant for segmentation, not the stores. So this is where I will be assigning the segmentation. And it will get defaulted here. Okay. And then when I maintain the stock of this material, system will ask for a segment. So now if I try to maintain some stock, let's say I am doing a stock upload. Okay. Let's say I am doing a stock upload using 561 movement type for any DC. Remember, not store, only DC. Segmentation is valid only for DC. Let's say R101.
It cannot be done for the store level.
No, no.
Okay.
So the moment I try to post it without a segmentation, it will not accept. So you have to enter a valid segment value. Okay. So, and then once you activate segmentation, batch management is already by default activated. Okay. So you cannot have segmentation without batch. So Now, if we look into the stock for the DC where we uploaded the stock, we will find it at a segment level. See, and batch is already enabled. Now you can have another segmented stock for QCD, QC2D in another batch, and so on. Okay, and the moment you try to create a sales order, I will have to list this article first. If I want to create a sales order, let me list it. So in the sales order, purchase order, the segmentation will be equally valid once you have enabled it. So let us see how it impacts in the purchase order. In every inventory management related activity for the article which has been enabled for segmentation, you have to assign the segmentation. If you are not doing that, you will get an error message. So here it is stock segment, as I said, that in purchase order, the enter stock segment. So you have to enter a stock segment. QC1 DE. Okay. And when you do a GR, the stock will be again received against that particular segment. Similarly, when you create a sales order, let's do a sales order. In one for the same material. So
Hello.
you will have to enter a requirement segment here.
Hello.
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah. What is the purpose of this segment? Means why we are using this segment?
So there are certain rules. That's what I explained in the very beginning when I was explaining this. So
Yes. That I heard that, but I'm not getting that point.
yeah, segmentation is basically the rule between your demand and stocks. So if there is a demand, let's say there is a sales order which needs to be fulfilled,
Hmm.
this quantity needs to be fulfilled. So how do you
Hmm.
do that in a very complex fashion environment? So based on the business perspective, you will have to set the rules. For example, I mentioned the country of origin versus the quality of stock. So when I enter a customer in the sales order, it belongs to a particular country. So
Okay.
based
Okay.
on that country, a particular quality of stock will be used.
Okay.
Okay, your business
Okay.
might have a different strategy. For example, you are having only one dimensional segmentation, like you have segment for wholesale, you have segment for e-com, you have segment for retail, and you have a segment
Hmm.
for your app sale. So those can also be
Hmm.
segments. So you are having segment based orders, and then you are maintaining your stock for each of the segments separately. So that's a one dimensional. The one that I
Hmm.
cited now is a two dimensional. It has country of origin versus quality of stock.
Hmm.
It takes a bit of a time to understand this concept. So in this overview session, it is very difficult to explain you everything. I'm trying my best, but
Okay. Okay.
not everything could be made clear in this demo session. This is just a demo session for an overview. So this is
Oh.
segmentation,
Okay.
and the next part, which is related with it, is allocation graph. So we
Okay.
have a demand and we have a stock. Now, in fashion, you have to explicitly assign that stock to the sales order. Okay, so that it cannot be used for any other sales order. So every sales order has to be assigned a stock explicitly. It is not like the regular SD scenario where you have a stock and then if there is a sales order, you can use it. No, it is not like that here. So if I go back to the same scenario, I have stock, right? I have stock of 100 pieces. And then
Yes.
allocation run is mandatorily enabled if you have segmentation. Now again, if you want to enable allocation run, you have to go to the logistics DC2 view and enable it. here. Okay, and then we also make the setting for assignment of batches. So if that is the case, then even if we have a stock, we cannot directly create a delivery. We will get an error, something like that. So we will have to execute the allocation run to explicitly assign the stock. And if you go to the header status, there is an indicator called Iran status, which is in the which is saying not yet processed. So unless and until this Iran status is completely processed, is complete, you cannot deliver this order, even if stock is there. So you have to execute this Iran ITA inside to action. Again, this is entered in the sales area. And you have to assign the stock explicitly to the sales order. Okay, select this and then assign 100% of the order, and you will find something like this. There is a field called Iran status here. If I expand it, it will say Iran status. It is now not appearing fully, but the moment I assign it, I click on this button, the status will change to F. F means ready for delivery. Here, see, earlier it was blank to begin with. Now it is F ready for delivery, and then once you save this, then your sales order will be updated with the Iran process information, meaning the same status will now say completely processed. And now it is good to be delivered. I think there is a schedule line problem. Someone has made some authorization block. NAPP forwards it delivery. Some status level control is there, but that's a separate thing. So once your Iran status is completely processed, you can proceed for delivery and PGI. Here, someone has enabled a status control profile, which is a separate SD object, and that is why I cannot create the delivery. It's not at all related to the segmentation. Okay, so this is something which we will see in detail. There are a lot of processes under allocation run. So the theoretical explanation of the allocation run tells a bit on that. So we will be looking into the details of allocation run in this course content. The next topic that we have is the value-added services. So value-added services are the additional services or the supplementary logistic services. Like when you are creating a purchase order to the vendor, you are asking the vendor to provide two additional button for the shirt. And then there can be services which are chargeable. The previous one that I cited is generally free. Now vendor doesn't mind to provide two additional buttons to the shirt, but then there are services which can be chargeable. For example, uh, if you ask the vendor, if the fashion client asks the vendor to stitch a particular emblem at the cuffling or collar of the shirt, then it becomes chargeable generally. So value-added services can be chargeable, can be free depending on the nature of the service. So there is a whole lot of config and master data that you need to enable value-added services, and we'll be looking into those in details. So these are the same thing that I just said in brief. Then season management. Season management is a very vital scenario in fashion. So business wants to track the procurement value and volume. Not only procurement, but the sales as well for every season. So every calendar year is broken down into multiple season, and then season can also be broken down further into collection and theme. Optionally, collection and theme are not mandatory. So it looks like this. If I go into the system, I can. So every calendar year can be divided into multiple seasons, and then seasons can be also divided into collection and theme. So this is season 1, this is season 2, this is season 3, and then it can also have collection and theme, and then against the collection theme combination, we can have separate criteria for season determination in purchase and sales. And then there are equivalent configuration that you need to activate at the SPRO level. Okay, and then season will get determined, and then all the purchase order and sales reports are appended with the season information. For example, ME2 end, season year collection theme. You can extract the data based on season. ME2L, another purchase order report by supplier. That also is appended with season. Similarly, in the sales side, the season is now part of the input streams. So business will access these reports and extract the data based on particular season, and then they will get the details of the procurement and sales value, volume, etc. And then it will give them the baseline for planning for the next season, same year. So, next year, same season. Sorry. So it's kind of a raw data they will use for their analytical purpose, and then based on that they can derive certain decision based, especially in the procurement side for the same season next year. So it is very important for uh, the fashion industry to have season determined in the purchase order and sales order, and then uh, once you have defined your season, it needs to be assigned to the product level also here. So this is where you have to assign. Okay, then
Hello.
yeah.
So one doubt I have. For example, hello.
Tell me.
Carry on, carry on.
Yeah. So actually, in fashion, which means code we are using that for creation of purchase order, like ME21N or
N
like
N N ME21 N.
so in that
If you are
so very difficult to pick that fashions item, no. So for example, if someone take vendor wise, so how they can put the all the article in each line item?
yeah, that is this is the end user level question actually. How they can enter the
Yeah,
purchase
individual.
order?
That's no. That's what.
End user
So
level question. This okay.
uh,
So what your
is
question is how
any
they can enter item details in ME21 in. So we have to type it. There is no upload functionality.
so is there any Fury tiles available for that? So
Yeah, Fury tiles
like
is there, but
easily.
it exactly looks like this. So if I access the Fury tile, it will not going to give you any added advantage. So if I go to the Fury tiles,
Hmm.
if you go to the create purchase order, let's go there. Since you asked this question, where is it? Yeah, create purchase order. Create. Where is create purchase order? Hmm, Purchase order. Different is workbench. Uh, Maintain purchase order. Maintain. This is for the existing queue.
Create purchase
Create.
order. I think.
Yeah, no, this
Create
is
purchase order.
return basically. This is yeah, no, this is
Okay. This
create,
is the.
yeah, this one, yeah, create purchase.
Hmm.
So this is how you get it here. So not much of a
So
difference. Right?
okay,
Hmm.
okay. Can we customize this? Means we can.
Development, yes, you, yeah, development. The standard
Yeah.
screen structure will look like this. Development, above development. I mean, this
Okay.
one will be uh, a development is a transactional app. So yeah, and
Hmm.
it is not the OData service. So there is a development object related to the UI5 development.
Hmm.
But again, that's not something which is fashion specific. The semi 21N is common across different industries, including fashion and retail.
Hmm.
Now, there are other functionalities in fashion which are known as cross application, relevant functionalities like diversion, requisition, MSO, characteristics, value, distribution, carve, application variant. So, I mean, it is impossible to explain all these topics in this demo session, but these are some of the topics that you will find in the course content. The course content, of course, has, I think, few more than what you see in this PowerPoint presentation. So you can look into that, which Naveen will share with you shortly, if not done already. And then you need to decide on whether you are going to opt for the part of the fashion or SD part of the fashion, because depending on your work stream area, either one of them would be advisable. So
Now,
now it is up to
again,
you.
like Kiran, see, in mainly SD area, which are the areas which is important for fashion segment? Segmentation is common in both, right? SD and MM.
So I can do one thing. I can
Hmm.
send you the course content for fashion
Ha,
and
please.
fashion SD. Okay, then
Ha,
you
ha.
can take a look, and then based on your functional area, meaning you will be never asked to work in both. That is for sure, 100%. It never
Ha,
happens
ha.
that a consultant works in both SD and It never happens. So based
Right.
on your functional area,
No, no.
you can
What we will do,
opt
what we
for.
are doing is, I will tell you frankly, nothing to hide. We have got one project, okay, Rajesh. So basically, certain areas we just also want contemplating to have the basic knowledge before we go to consult, client side. So that is the
Yeah,
thing.
I
The SD is
understand.
also there, MM is also there. Okay, like
Yeah, yeah,
I
no,
was
no, no.
telling Naveen
Hmm.
that POGT is a very important thing for them. Now,
No,
POGT will be covered in MM or SD?
yeah, POGT will be covered in SD, POGT. No, POGT is a purchase order workbench, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it will be
generation
covered
two.
under Yeah, MM.
Okay.
So the outcome
Yeah.
is purchase order. So
Yeah.
the question is, uh, client requirement will be both. I mean, SD, PP, WM, everything will be the requirement from client. But
Right.
which area you are working?
No, this is not a manufacturing, right, Rajan?
No,
Is it manufacturing?
which area you
No,
were
no, 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 no.
planning to work?
Yeah. So our consultancy, I am from the delivery side. Rajan looks after functional as a functional consultant from the MM side. Now we will be having a SMMSD also. So we need people from three who has to be have the knowledge on three of the side, SD, MM both. Okay, not PP. Production planning is not there in this scope.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, you have to have targeted audience because people without background will not understand People without background will not
No,
understand
it should
the
be
SD
separate.
part.
I think yeah, when you plan, it will be has to be separate. I think. I
Yeah,
cannot expect that to be together. You will be training SD and MM together.
exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
not
exactly.
expecting
So
that.
that is the
I'm not
that's
expecting that. Please, I understand as a lead. I'm not expecting that, but I know you are a industry expert, so you are referring and letting us know that both SD and MM is a part and integral part, and training has to be done in both. Hmm. Okay,
no.
so this is
It
the
depends on the audience. That depends on the
uh,
audience who wants to. I mean, do what kind of training? It depends on the
right.
audience.
So
Okay, so
POC part, you are knowledgeable to deliver. I mean, let the training done,
and
right?
then
POGD side.
yeah, and then to further customize, you can also look for the exact areas that you need. You don't have to go through everything. So you also want to,
Uh-huh.
like, POGT is one of the area you are repeatedly mentioning. So you can also I mean, take the particular topics that you are interested in. Not everything is used everywhere.
see, we are novice, so we need guidance from people, right? Like industry experts. So POGT is totally new for us. Why I'm repeating is like this is from the client
Everything
side.
is new for us. Yeah,
Uh,
for that matter,
client has,
everything is new.
yeah. No, client has asked that they want to have this facility in the seasonality, seasonal part thing, the purchase order. They want this feature. So now we are totally dark. That's the reason of my stating multiple time that we want this POGT as a part of training. But now, how much will be covered, no covered, that we will be having the confidence of the trainer to guide us, right?
Yeah. So only thing I'm thinking is who will take what. I mean, this is a bit of a strange situation. Like you are saying that partial people are interested in MM and partial people are interested in SD.
You
So
first concentrate on the MM. You first concentrate on the MM side. Then I will let
yeah,
you know the SD. Yeah, you first concentrate
exactly.
on
That will be
the
better
MM
because
side.
anyway I cannot continue. I mean, MM and SD in parallel. I cannot do that. I don't have that time. So
So means
MM
I
course
will say
content. Yeah,
first MM. राजन ना
exactly.
राजन ठीक है ना? First हम MM
Yes,
में
yes,
concentrate करते हैं.
yeah,
हाँ.
yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So I will share the course content for the fashion MM
Okay.
part, go through it, and then decide. Okay.
Fine. Good enough.
Yeah.
So I think anything additional you are going to show?
Yeah. This is what I showed. I mean, allocation run partially, and then this one, segmentation. What else you want to see?
No. Anything you have planned to show? Otherwise, I have something
No,
to
no,
say.
no, no.
Naveen, you are there? Naveen?
Yeah. Tell.
Yeah, I was telling that the retail part that you have conducted with me, some clarification sessions I need, but I am open to for the remuneration that Naveen will discuss with you. Okay, so 2 3 sessions if you can afford. Naveen, it's okay you discuss Naveen and let me know.
Yeah. You speak with Naveen on that. Yeah. Naveen
Yeah,
hasn't
yeah.
spoken to me on this at all. So yeah,
I
for
told
that
Naveen
you can
yesterday.
speak with
He,
Naveen. Yeah. I will
he
send
said
the
that.
fashion MM course content.
I'm
Then
there.
we'll
Yeah.
decide on that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, fine. So Naveen will
Yeah.
speak to you. I need 2 3
Yeah.
sessions on especially replenishment side with your
Yeah.
assistance, and then that I will talk to Naveen on the other formalities.
Yeah. I will log off now.
Okay, thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
Naveen.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Rajesh. Thank you, Naveen.